Yo, this is your friendly neighborhood indie rapper, Open Mike Eagle here again. It's been a while. I've been gone for a minute. I was on tour. I was making stuff. I'm going on tour again. Blah, blah, blah. Link in the description and all of that. And this is not the video I wanted to come back with. I got to say, rest in peace to the legend, Sacha Jenkins. And I also have to say, rest in peace to my friend, Sacha Jenkins. He's played the background for a lot of his media career, so I think a lot of people don't understand the impact or the full picture of his career. So that's one of the reasons I'm excited to make this video, because I think he's had a legendary career full of very unique and creative and challenging hip hop media. And I would love nothing more than to lay out his resume so everybody can see the greatness of Sacha Jenkins. My first exposure to him was like in '97. It was the time in my life where I used to read these little things that used to exist everywhere called rap magazines. I used to read anyone I could get my hands on from cover to cover. The Source, Rap Sheet, Vibe, Stress. I used to read a magazine called Murder Dog. A magazine called Murder Dog. I didn't even like the music in the magazine, but I read it anyway. And then one day I found a magazine called Ego Trip. And when I found Ego Trip magazine, it was a similar feeling to hearing the music of Tribe or De La for the first time, or MF Doom or something like that, where you get a hold of a piece of media that lets you know, oh, this is the thing for me. Like this is what's at the table for me. Because this was a magazine that was from a group of writers that were obviously in the culture of hip hop and loved it, loved the craft, loved the history, all of it. But it was a magazine that was unafraid to approach an aspect of hip hop that everybody knows, but a lot of people don't want to talk about, and that's that hip hop is fucking hilarious. Look at some of this shit that was an Ego Trip. Check this out. Look at this splash on braids. Check out this image of quote unquote upcoming Ego Trip projects. This was the fucking greatest magazine ever. I didn't know who was responsible for this magazine when I read it, but I would come to find out later that a lot of the aesthetic that I liked about that magazine came from Sacha Jenkins. And then the next thing they made was this book. This book, Ego Trips, The Big Book of Rap Lists. This is one of the greatest rap books of all time. It is literally a book full of rap lists, but it's fucking incredible. Here's a couple of the things that are in Ego Trip's Big Book of Rap Lists. A list. Sir Mix-a-Lot's 10 signs that you're being player hated. Number 1, your name is Mix. John loves Kathy. Kathy fucks Mix. John slashes Mix tires. You drive a Benz. You love soul food. The 4 niggas standing in the doorway at the restaurant key your shit while you're eating. This is just Sir Mix-a-Lot's list of signs you're being player hated. When you was broke, motherfuckers was calling you a cool ass brother. After your first check, you a punk ass sellout. Everything in Sir Mix-a-Lot's list ends in an exclamation point. It's amazing. Here's another list. Dante Ross, shout out to Dante Ross. What had happened was alum. Dante Ross lists the top 10 things rappers do to ruin their careers. Number 1, pull guns on A&R men. Number 2, threaten record company employees with acts of violence, which is somewhat related to number 1. Number 3, say, my man is doing the beats. Number 4, say, my cousin is the manager, and so on and so on and so on. It's a huge book. Look how big this book is. It's one of the greatest rap books of all time. If you've never seen it, you can get it right now, and you should while it's still in print. It's like Justin Hunt says, if you haven't picked up the Big Book of Rap List, punch yourself in the face. So the next thing they did under the Ego Trip banner that I saw was a little thing on VH1, a cable network, called The White Rapper Show. And if you've never seen The White Rapper Show, just trust me, it was incredible. And I'm not going to actually tell you that much about it, because what I don't want is for anybody to try to do that again. I don't think anybody should ever try to do that again. I think Ego Trip did it. It was a moment. I think if somebody did it right now, they'd fuck around and Frankenstein another Post Malone or Tom McDonald. It would all go ass backwards. So just nobody do it. Don't do it. So those are the Ego Trip years, and I do think it's important to shout out everybody who was a part of that, aside from Sacha Chairman Mao, Haji Akikbade, Elliot Wilson. Yes, somehow that Elliot Wilson was a part of this cool funny thing. And shout out to Gabriel Alvarez and Brent Rollins. So after this phase, Sacha starts to step out on his own. He becomes the music editor of Vibe magazine. He co-authors Eminem's autobiography. Can you co-author an autobiography? I don't know. That's what Wikipedia says. I haven't read the Eminem book. So in 2015, I see a documentary on CNN about hip hop fashion, and my body tightens up on even getting this information. I don't know what kind of documentary about hip hop fashion I'm gonna get from CNN. I don't know, but I watch it, and this shit ties hip hop fashion like all the way back to slavery times. It was a mind-blowing documentary. I watched it a few times, and then I find out later that Sacha Jenkins wrote and directed it. So now Sacha has gone from magazine editing, creation, writing to television production, and now has arrived at fucking filmmaking. And this is where the video gets tough for me, because this is around the time when I met Sacha Jenkins. I had a TV show on Comedy Central called The New Negroes. It was me and Baron Vaughn co-hosting and executive producing the show. And when we were putting the show together, we interviewed Sacha Jenkins to be the showrunner of the show because of his television experience. He was very down with what we were doing, and I'll never forget that during the interview, which also had some other of the executive producers there who happened to be white, at the end of the interview, he said, "Okay, let's go take these white people's money." He didn't end up being able to do it because he was living in NYC at the time, and Comedy Central didn't offer him enough money to move to LA, which is what they wanted him to do. But this is when I start to get to know Sacha Jenkins. He's also the creative director for Mass Appeal at this time. So he's involved in musical releases like Run the Jewels and Neruvian Doom. And he's intimately involved in the resurrection of Nas's career. He's alongside Nas, but Nas is starting to make the albums that are like currently defining this resurrected part of his career. It was around this time when Sacha invited me to New York to contribute musically to a project he was working on with a legendary producer. So Sacha Jenkins is how I meet Prince Paul. So if I never meet Sacha Jenkins, I may never meet Prince Paul. So I may never have my podcast, What Had Happened Was. So this is a very, very important moment in my life. And over the years, Sacha and I always kept in touch and talked about how we could work together. We used to scheme on projects all the time. Whenever I was in New York, I'd hang out with him at the Mass Appeal office. We'd either be, trying to put together some television concept or be talking about the dumbass rapper shit that dumbass rappers do. It was always a fucking excellent time. It's also during this time when he starts production on one of the greatest documentaries I've ever seen in my life. It's the Wu-Tang documentary that aired on Showtime called Of Mics and Men. In addition to the Ego Trip Big Book of Rap List, if you've never seen this, punch yourself on the other side of your face and go watch it right now. It is an exploration of the Wu-Tang, of the lore, of the actual people, of the storylines, the conflict, the beef, the lack of trust, the brotherhood. It really lays out the story, the rise and fall of Wu-Tang with access to them and real conversations between them that we've never been able to see before. And I don't know if we've ever seen in a rap group outside of maybe the Tribe Called Quest documentary. So he's fully arrived as a filmmaker while still being creative director at Mass Appeal and still doing hella musical side projects, including his rock band, the 1865. He goes on to direct documentaries about Rick James, Carl Kanai, Louis Armstrong, Biz Markie. And we texted a bunch during this Biz Markie production because it wasn't going as planned. He goes on to do a documentary series on Showtime called Everything's Gonna Be All White, which he actually interviews me for. And I don't know if I'm in it because I haven't seen his last 5 projects, even though I might be in one of them. And this is all just a reminder for me and for all of us not to take the brilliant people in your life for granted, not to take their work for granted. Don't take your relationships with them for granted. If you have a moment to, make something with somebody like that, you definitely take advantage of it because people go. People go. They say life is short, and it's fucking true. You just never know when your last communication with somebody's going to be. I was standing at the counter of the post office when I saw that he passed away. and my fucking heart sank immediately. And I went to see the last time him and I texted, and it was almost a year to the day before when he passed. What I texted him was all of this, because this is during the Kendrick and Drake beef. I said all this beef talk got me all this beef talk got me going through the big book of rap list. I still think this is the best rap book ever. He said, thanks, man. Back when rap was rap. And then he texts me, here's some aggressive rock music from me. And he texts me a link to this song Blitzkrieg Cops from his band 1865. And I said, I love that. I love the Ramones flip. There's something really enchanting about how the singer bends the melody slightly. And those are the last words I was able to say to my friend Sacha Jenkins, whose work was incredibly important to me, and I think shaped a lot of the personalities of smart people in and around hip hop who are able to step back and laugh at it. I think if you're into my channel at all and how my approach to talking about a lot of rap stuff is humorous, I think that Sacha Jenkins is one of the people whose work gave me the confidence to approach things this way. So rest in peace to Sacha Jenkins. Like and subscribe, homie, friend. It's free. Stop playing.